The words culture and Wichita, Kansas don't often go hand in hand, but here is a rare exception. Frank Lloyd Wright's Allen House, a masterpiece of design by a master of his craft. And I'm here to talk about dreams because I have a dream two-car garage. And one of those cars is one of the vehicles that really got me into cars in the first place. A masterpiece of design from the early mid-2000s that blew my mind. I didn't know the first thing about cars when I first saw it sprawled across a popular mechanics advertisement. And it is that, the Audi R8. The silver press car Audi R8 that I saw in that advertisement made quite an impression on me. It looked like a spaceship, and one of the centerpiece details were the headlights, which had a string of pearls LED lighting daytime running light designed to them, which is a little toned down here in the facelifted model. A lot better executed, quite frankly, and less primitive looking, but still very, very striking. And of course, now every car has LED running lights, but back in 2006, that was mind-blowing. And of course, who could forget Iron Man? Me, because I didn't see it. Of course, everyone knows what this is. It is a Lamborghini Gallardo that has ditched the party outfit and put on a suit and tie. And a lot of people find that to be boring. They prefer the drama, the excitement, the vulgarness of the Lamborghini. However, if I'm going to be dropping 6 figures on a supercar, I want to be able to use it every day with as little compromise as possible. And I think that characteristic of the R8 is what's going to make this an eternal classic. The Porsche 911 is an amazing car for a lot of the same reasons. However, Porsche has had about 300 years to get that formula correct, whereas Audi came right out of the gate with a banger. And this is a pretty special one as well, because it's for sale. You can buy it right now live on, which auction website is it? You can bid on this car right now, as of this video coming out, on Bring a Trailer. The link will be below and in the description. And thanks to the owner for letting me drive this. I'm actually taking the auction photos and taking this opportunity to show you one of my dream cars and also drive it for the first time. Josh drove it here. I haven't driven it yet. I have no idea what it's like. The only one of these I drove was John Ross's, and that thing was a broken piece of shit. First, we need to talk about Audi, because I have a lot of thoughts about Audi. I don't like Audi's small cars. Their front-wheel drive based stuff just never really clicked with me. They all kind of drive like a front-wheel drive Buick. They understeer, they don't ride particularly good. All that said, there are 2 things that Audi consistently absolutely nails, and that is the exterior design and the interior design. Less so these days. Their latest generation stuff, but back in the early 2000s, nobody was making cars that have aged as gracefully inside and out as Audi has. I mean, look around at this interior. All the materials are excellent. The design, unpretentious, which means it aged so much better than the weird, swoopy shelf in the Lamborghini Gallardo with its weird HVAC and its weird everything. This is a normal car. This is an Audi A4, except it actually, well, I don't know how it drives. I assume better than an Audi A4 or an S4. You have a shifter, more on that later. You have normal HVAC, a normal, well, this one doesn't have a normal radio. This has a very nice double-din Alpine. You have cruise control. You know how many supercars in this era had cruise control? None of them. None of them. Even the Grand Touring cars. My brother in Christ, the Ferrari 599 GTB, their go across country in this car did not have cruise control. Do you know how annoying it is to maintain highway legal speeds in a Ferrari Enzo engine manually? It is exhausting. They should have had cruise control, and of course Ferrari's hubris. That's a whole nother video. And this car has the carbon package, so we have carbon everywhere you can have carbon. Carbon here, carbon here, carbon here. The entire engine bay is carbon. Alcantara up here, all of it in good shape, no squeaks, no rattles. I do this, a little bit of wiggle there. But for the most part, it is a very well put together interior. I mean, you would assume for 6 figures, but if you assume that, you haven't been around many supercars, because paying a lot of money does not mean you get a quality interior. Most supercars are worn out garbage by the time 50,000 miles rolls around, and I have driven high mileage E-Gear R8s, and they hold up a lot better than every other exotic out there. So the long-term ownership prospects of these cars is far and above basically any other supercar out there. I mean, you get in like a Diablo or something, you've got panels on the interior that are just cardboard wrapped in leather. Jaguar, same thing. Ferrari, definitely. I mean, come on, the Countach? The Countach is one of those cars where the kit cars are better built. Also, what's funny about being in here is the door ding that it makes. That is my Volkswagen Phaeton. It makes the exact same noises. Okay, so we got to talk about the shifter. And here's my incredibly controversial take as a card-carrying manual elitist jerk. I think this car would be better if it were not gated. Now hear me out. The gates on this shifter are to prevent you from grinding gears, going directly from first over to third and just smashing the shift linkages into each other. Sort of like how a typewriter was laid out QWERTY so that you wouldn't type so fast that you get everything all jumbled up. However, this is a car from the 21st century. The transmission has gates in it already. This is superfluous. This is unnecessary. I cannot speak today. It is a bit of theater, it is a bit of show, it is very tactile. However, I think the experience is a little bit worse for it. I mean, as I'm rolling through here, I'm kind of running into the gates a little bit. Like, a gated shifter is not good for expedient shifting. It is good for grand touring. However, in some cars, it just doesn't quite fit the vibe. So what we're gonna do now is fire up the V10 FSI engine, TFSI? I think it's just FSI because it's not turbo, which uses an actual key. How about that? And see how it actually drives and see how the AC works, because it is warm enough out here. So that right there was a perfect example of what I mean by usable supercar. Didn't scrape, and I was a little concerned about it, but no more concerned than I would have been in my BMW M2. No front lift or anything, still negotiates driveways just fine. And so far, low speed, no jerky throttle, no grabby clutch, just kind of goes. Feels like an Audi. Oh, the clutch is nice. Oh, the acceleration's nice. The switchgear is nice. I give it a nice out of 10 from 30 feet of driving. Okay, can I heel toe it? Sort of. The shifter did get in the way a little bit. Smoothly and quickly shifting a click-clack gated manual is pretty difficult, which is kind of inherent to its design. I mean, you've got gates gating the way, but I mean, it is an experience. I mean, listen to that. Yeah, sounds good. It is a little bit of theater, and whether or not that's good depends on what kind of person you are. Do you want the theater, or do you want the daily driver aspects of the car? For me, personally, I think I could do without it. I'd love to get one of these and take the gated shifter plate out just to see what it's like, and watch the entire internet have a conniption fit all at once. Oh, what a noise. And the cool thing about mid-engine cars is you get both intake and exhaust coming from behind you, which gives the manufacturer a lot of room to do nifty things with it, like making them play a perfect third apart, which is what a lot of Ferraris do, or maybe it's a fourth. I don't recall. I'll have to get it into a music editing software to see, but that is a very pleasing noise. And you don't quite get that if you've got your engine in the front and your exhaust in the back. Our friend Jay has a V6 swap Toyota MR2, and hilariously, you get kind of the same effect from the intake and the exhaust playing a chord behind you. We're now going to take on Wichita's most dangerous on-ramp because you get absolutely no room, and it's a very tight, it's very tight. Fortunately, this car handles very good. And accelerates decent. Now, the most important thing, what happens when I put it in 6th, set the cruise control, and sit back at 65 miles an hour on the highway? Ride quality, pretty good. Very good for a sports car like this. It's no S8 or A8, but pretty good. Steering, heavy, but decent. Road noise, controlled, pretty good. I mean, this feels like a compact luxury car. Any compact luxury car. Any good compact luxury car. It does not feel like a car where I can do this. To 8,500 RPM. That's very good. And no valved exhaust or anything. I just put it in 6th, set my cruise control again, and you can go across country in this car. And at any time, you can drop from 6th to 3rd or 4th gear and hear a symphony behind you with a very adequate, what is this, 500 and something horsepower? That's about what it feels like. It is a 500 and something horsepower that encourages you to hit that red line. It is not a big lump of torque and nothing else. I have a big thing about power delivery. I don't like the way that American cars especially deliver power. The Hellcat is one of the most boring vehicles on the market. It is a big lump of 2,000 to 3,000 RPM. Anything after that is just playing with your wiener. And that's part of the reason that I like BMWs and this car and AMG V8s especially. They want you to use all of it. You paid for the tachometer. That engine wants you to use the whole tachometer. And that is what I like, especially in an exotic, especially in a European car. And I mentioned earlier about Audi's aging well. This thing has physical gauges and they're beautiful. They've got just the right amount of red accents. There's a black and white screen in the middle that has actually aged really well. It is crisp, it's sharp, it's not like mushy, or the fact that it's black and white has actually made it age really well because it doesn't have any silly graphics or animations going on. It's just my speed, the temperature, and Bluetooth, because Bluetooth. And that's the amount of tech that I want in a car. I want automatic climate, I want cruise control, ideally radar cruise for long road trips, I want physical gauges, and I want Bluetooth. And, you know, steering wheel controls for said Bluetooth, so I don't have to go reaching over. Don't have to leave 6th in order to accelerate on the highway. That's nice. I mean, we're turning about 3,000 RPM at about 75 miles an hour. That's perfectly fine. The engine's not sitting there screaming away. All right, another ramp, but I got quite a few people in front of me. Oh, but you get to hit that downshift, and that is I did that. Not a computer, not Artronic. I blipped and shifted and hit the clutch for a smooth downshift that didn't make the camera bobble around because Josh is sitting here doing this. Oh, that was dramatic. And obviously you can say, oh, why don't you have manual timing control? Because that does not spark joy. This sparks joy. I'm getting to row through the gears, and I am getting to emulate those foot cam videos. Oh, that sounds weird. Those racing videos of rally drivers, you know, the shifter cam and the foot shifting cam and everything. Just all of it. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. I'm just giddy. Visibility, not great out the rear. there is, you know, an engine back there. However, front visibility is excellent. Unlike, again, most supercars. My thing about supercars is whenever I get into I sound like such a fanboy right now, but it's my strongest point of comparison. If I get out of a supercar into my M2, I usually just kind of go, oh, thank God. Everything makes sense. I can see, I'm not stressed. Like, the stress of owning and driving a really expensive car, especially one without great visibility and not great parts availability and whatnot, just makes it not as enjoyable. But in this, I mean, obviously this is still an expensive high-end car, but parts exist, body panels exist. They made lots of these and they're everywhere, and you can pick them up in all kinds of conditions depending on your, you know, propensity for torture. Because I know the AC compressor is one thing in these that is an especially big bugaboo. Who the hell says bugaboo? Where did that come from? Bugaboo. We're on our way to our second photo shoot location. I'm just kind of doing a tour of Wichita's on and off ramps because that's what we get here for twisty driving roads. All right, and we can roll through the gears. Oh, it just pulls harder and harder and harder. Oh. Oh man. That is intoxicating, and it loves it. It doesn't feel like it hates you for doing that. That was my biggest thing with the first generation of the Scion FRS. Wonderful little car, but if you drive it the way you're supposed to, you know, everyone complains about the torque dip in those. If you drive it the way you're supposed to above the torque dip, the engine sounds like it hates you for doing that. It's all rattly and raspy, and it feels like it's going to shake apart, especially when you're off throttle between corners. But something like this, or you know, a European straight six, I've driven across town in 4th gear in one of my BMWs before and just have not noticed because the engine is so smooth. Oh, it's so easy to rev match. No auto rev matching either. I can't turn that off in my M2 without also ditching into second. Wow! That was an aggressive rev match and it still nailed it. And it doesn't get light in the front. That was my big complaint with the Ferrari 360. They feel really light in the front in a bad way. Unfortunately, we are behind a Hyundai Sonata, so I cannot exactly... We are no longer behind a Hyundai Sonata. Okay, kind of a challenging left. Oh, it digs in. Yes, it's very good, actually. There is one thing I would change, and that is the all-wheel drive. I want to get the tail out. If I'm driving a car with 500 horsepower, I want to get a little bit silly with it. So if I had one of these, it would be getting the front drive shafts pulled, and the Quattro system would go away. John Ross had that MP4 12C, and I drove that a few times. Also, a phenomenal car. Again, one of the only mid-engine cars. It's the only really mid-engine point of comparison I have to this, as far as a car that actually handles well. Because again, the Ferrari J's MR2 weirdly felt just a little light and skittish in the front. The Ferrari was way worse. I have been so disappointed by the Ferrari 360. Have not driven a 430 yet. What came after the 430?
58.
Yeah, 458. I hate those. I think they're hideous.
I stopped caring after the 430.
Yeah, the 430 is kind of the end of classic Ferrari for me. After that, they just kept iterating on the 458 forever. I wish Tyler didn't give up on his V8 R-Tronic. I think there were talks of him manual swapping it, and a cheap R-Tronic, or a cheap gated swap V8, one of these, probably the deal of the century as far as a good driver's car that still gets looks. You can get a lot of cars that'll get looks, but I don't think any of them drive quite this good or make this noise, or just it's the whole package. It is the whole package. And the only compromises are on things that I don't care about. I am glad that this doesn't look completely overwrought and ridiculous. Some people think it looks like an egg. I think it's very smooth styling, very subdued, and that's why it's aged so well. I don't think the Gallardo has aged particularly well. It's aged well in that it is the least ridiculous looking modern Lamborghini. It is the most toned down, probably some influence from this. But like the Aventador, they just got more and more ornate, more and more baroque, and with each winglet and additional little slot in the front bumper that Lamborghini added to those cars, they just kept getting worse and worse and uglier and trying harder and harder to be fresh when they were just putting lipstick on the pig instead of just letting the pig be its authentic self, which is this. This is the authentic self of this platform, not the Gallardo. That's my hot take for the day. I didn't get that one very smooth. See? And you win some, you lose some. Sometimes you don't quite match the rev.
In a way, that's the magic part.
The magic part is that it lets you make mistakes. Because in the end, we are all flawed. But not the Audi R8 V10. It's perfect. Unless you get one with R8, and then if you're poor, just say it. Gosh, it drives like you don't have to do anything weird to take off from a stop. Do you know how rare that is with supercars? Even automatic ones? Not like I'm the end-all be-all expert on supercars. Like, I've driven some stuff that Tyler's had around a little bit. Some people have brought me some of their cars to drive, and I've enjoyed all of them, and I definitely get the appeal. But for me, the appeal is in, I have this wonderful, beautiful, capable vehicle, and I can use it all the time. I don't have to set aside a special day. I don't have to set aside a special occasion. And for some people, they want that. They want the car to be an occasion, an event, the main attraction. I want it to enhance my everyday. And that philosophical difference is probably why a lot of people in the comments will disagree with me. However, I don't think this is as unpopular of an opinion as I'm afraid. Oh, that's interesting. You can see the turn signal from the inside of the mirror. And these are creeping up in price. So if you can afford the purchase, I don't think you're going to lose money on the ownership. You'll get your money back when you sell it, and you'll get to enjoy one of these probably for free. Right now, I think 100 is about the mark for a decent gated V10 manual. I'm not going to hazard a guess on what this will end up bidding up to on Bring a Trailer, but if you want to go make it higher, you can go find the links below. But now we're going to pull in and ponder. We end this video fittingly at another Wichita staple, an aerospace engineering college, because, well, it is the air capital of the world, and it produces engineering marvels, which is what I believe we have here. As I said earlier, the saying is to never meet your heroes, but this car truly lives up to everything I thought it would be. It is an affordable, usable, sensible, civilized supercar, and that combination of adjectives just really works for me. So go bid, take a look at this car, and thanks for watching.